All right, let's talk. I just came from boxing, so I'm pumped up to create videos and do something. So I know most of you viewers here are people who are trying to learn coding and not actually software engineers yet. Hopefully, this will be helpful to the lot of you that may be stuck at the moment or still trying to figure things out or somehow gets lost from time to time. I will tell you as many times as possible that I've been there and I've struggled for years to find the drive to code without interruption and actually gain progress in this field in coding. Anyway, I am here to offer you what I know with these commandments that guided my way to become a software engineer. This is a two parts video just to keep in just so my attention span and your attention span doesn't get burned out. It's so that I wouldn't make a very long video, so I made two parts. This is the first part, and the first commandment would be to thou shall focus as much as you can. In software engineering, you'll often hear the phrase I'm in my flow state, or please message me before calling first because you may disrupt my flow. And this is true in my case as well, because this is the programmer's best asset. It's our weapon to go when we go to war on a daily basis. We sharpen our blade, which is the focus, before going into war. As a software engineer, I know I can't cut it during the day if there's so much going on outside and inside my head. When I'm having trouble in my personal life, that's the most time that I can't deliver. But how can you actually be more focused and have a sharp and long blade of flow state? First would be to uninstall TikTok. I avoid that app, bro, like the plague, and it is the best way to make your blade blunt. TikTok is just detrimental to you in any form of, or in any form. Any apps that lessens your focus, your attention, and your patience, stay away from those. Meditate. Calm yourself before facing the computer and resting your hands on your keyboard. Before you open that Udemy course tutorial, be calm and not have so many tabs open on your browser, have anything playing in the background, and not have too many moving around on your peripheral. Just try making things simple so that you can focus. Then increase your flow state. Maybe today you can focus for an hour, maybe less. That's okay as long as you progress and make your flow state longer. Maybe an hour tomorrow and so on. Then before you know it, you can last and stay in in your flow state for hours. Let's move on. And the second one would be thou shall learn in the present. I see a lot of beginners quit halfway because of their fantasies and false rationalizations. They feel lost midway, thinking that I've put in so many hours, but I feel like nobody would hire me. Then, after thinking, they would find ways to rationalize why they should quit, and when in fact they've made a lot of progress. This was me a long time ago when I first started learning. I haven't set my foot inside yet. I already fantasize about those six-digit salaries that I see on YouTube or the people flexing their amazing free lunch at a Google Office. Midway, I feel like I'm never going to be good enough and I'll never get to that goal because my code is doo-doo water and it won't run with a bunch of errors. I quit midway because of these worries that I have that didn't really make sense now that I'm looking back at it. This is due to always looking far ahead in the future instead of just experiencing what's in front of you. You'll quit learning how to code the moment you feel uncomfortable or frustrated when you fantasize about the future because your frustrations would make your fantasies farther to reach. Then you'll worry about other things and then you spiral into a cyclone of worries and anxiety. So stop thinking too much about the future, just learn how to code and be present. This way you'll stick to coding regardless if you fail. Okay, I failed this one. Tomorrow I'll learn again. Maybe I won't fail. Then you take it one day at a time. You don't look too far ahead of the future because that will just frustrate you, especially when you get stuck. And yeah, let's move on. Third commandment, thou shall stack small wins. When I say stack small wins, yes, when you achieve something, you put that into record of your successes and you look back into it in the future. So being discouraged is the number one enemy of someone learning how to code. This is the opposite of living in the future. I mean, stacking small wins is the opposite of living in the future. It's more like living in the past. Stacking small wins is about reminiscing the past and reliving your success to make you invigorated once more to tackle another dragon. When you are having trouble understanding a concept or having trouble writing an algorithm to solve a certain problem, you can be frustrated for a while, but do not stick to that headspace. Do not stay in that headspace. Relive the past successes, no matter how small. If you have solved a problem before, then that's a win that you can relive. It's a confidence boost that you've already had wins in the past. So what's stopping you from winning over the thing that you are facing now? And I think I've read this concept. I guess it just reconfirmed this theory of mine when I read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I recommend you read that book. Like in boxing, if you are a beginner, it seems so hard to last for 4 rounds. But what if you start with just 2 rounds, then go 3 and 4 and so on? And then when you're at 3 rounds, you relieve that you've survived the second one. And if you're going to go last for 5 rounds, you should relieve that you've survived for 4 rounds so that you are more invigorated to go to the next one and up the next level. Stack small wins. Remember that these wins will help you when you get stuck or frustrated. These memories of your win will get your blood pumping and motivate you to add more rounds, to make more moves, and ultimately overcome. Then, what's that? Moving on, that's third. Yeah, third. Thou shalt take a break or rest. There will be a lot of time that you'll get frustrated. That's a given. You're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna feel uh, imposter syndromes. If you can't take off your frustration and you start slipping into anxiety, take a break. Take a break. The best way to take breaks that worked for me, hopefully they do for you too, is to go on a walk. Simple, just go around the block. Leave the computer altogether. Go outside, get some sun. Be with nature. Stare at a tree or a flower, or even go as far as hug a tree. Yeah, just hug a tree. There is a park in Japan where people just go hug trees because this act alleviates their frustrations and even depression, and they'll feel happier after hugging a tree. Wouldn't you want to be happier and remove your frustrations? Go hug a tree today. It is powerful. Next is go for a run, get your blood pumping. It is an activity that resets your brain. For me, I do a lot of boxing. Take a shower, get some sleep, anything that shifts your focus from coding in order to reset your brain. It's like when your computer hangs up and is no longer responsive. What does most IT people say when that happens? They'll say, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" So turn it off, then on again, and by turning it off, I mean doing healthy activities that has nothing to do with coding. This is a way to make the flow of information in your circuitry unclogged. And the last one, oh, so that was four. So the last one would be to thou shall read documentation. This is going to be harsh. I'll just say it. I don't think you can be in this industry if you're not fond of reading in general. There's a lot of reading involved in this field, either reading code or reading documentations. Same as the Witcher series where Geralt needs to consult his bestiary before going monster hunting so that he'll know the weaknesses and the strengths of this monster that he's about to slay. So same with coding, consult the documentation so that you'll know what are the strengths and weaknesses of the beast that you're going to slay. Documentation outlines every important details you'll need to know in order to use a certain technology. For example, if you have a fridge that is making an unfamiliar noise, you consult the manual to check why is this fridge making noise. Maybe there's something that hasn't been plugged in or something that is out of place. And that's what documentation is. And everything in this field has documentation that they provide for you to read. So if you're learning JavaScript, there's a documentation for that. If you're learning React.js, there's a documentation for that. And you have to read those documentations. Not as a whole. I'm just saying that if you're going to try to do something using that framework, try to research the documentation first so that you'll have a guide and that you'll not feel lost and you wouldn't write so many bugs that will cause you headaches in the long run. And those are the five. As of now, I'm just going to go for five, and then on the part two, stay tuned for the part two. I'll say the rest of the commandments that help me become a software engineer. And that's it. See ya.